Lycopene is a natural antioxidant found in various foods, especially tomatoes, and its supplementation has become increasingly popular due to its potential health benefits, such as reducing the risk of heart disease, cancer, and other chronic conditions. However, like any other supplement, it can interact with medications you may be taking, which can affect their efficacy or lead to side effects. Below, we will detail how lycopene can interact with different classes of medications, and how these interactions may be important for your well-being. First, it is essential to understand that lycopene is a fat-soluble compound, meaning it is better absorbed by the body when ingested with fats. This characteristic can influence how it interacts with medications that also rely on lipid metabolism. For example, drugs metabolized in the liver, such as statins, which are used to lower cholesterol levels, may have their action altered by lycopene. Studies suggest that lycopene can inhibit the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase, the same enzyme that statins block. This can amplify the cholesterol-lowering effect, which may be beneficial, but it can also increase the risk of side effects such as muscle pain and weakness. Another group of medications that may interact with lycopene are anticoagulants. Drugs like warfarin and clopidogrel, which prevent blood clots, may have their efficacy altered when used together with lycopene. Although there aren't many studies that confirm a direct interaction between lycopene and these medications, antioxidants in general are known to affect blood clotting. Since lycopene is a potent antioxidant, it may theoretically alter how the body responds to medications that control coagulation. Antihypertensives used to treat high blood pressure can also be influenced by the use of lycopene supplements. Some studies indicate that lycopene has vasodilatory properties, meaning it can help relax blood vessels, reducing blood pressure. This means that if you are taking medications to control high blood pressure, such as ACE inhibitors or calcium channel blockers, lycopene may enhance these effects, leading to excessively low blood pressure in some cases. This doesn't mean that lycopene should be avoided, but rather that it can be a useful complement to these treatments if doses are adjusted appropriately. In addition to cardiovascular medications, lycopene may interact with drugs that affect the immune system. For example, people taking immunosuppressants after an organ transplant or to manage autoimmune diseases should be cautious when adding antioxidants to their regimen. Lycopene, due to its antioxidant properties, may influence immune activity, which could affect the effectiveness of immunosuppressants. In cases of transplants, for example, it is crucial to keep the immune system suppressed to prevent organ rejection, and any substance that affects this dynamic may pose a risk. Chemotherapy drugs can also interact with lycopene. Since lycopene has been studied for its anti-cancer properties, many people undergoing chemotherapy may be interested in its supplementation. However, some studies indicate that lycopene may interfere with the effectiveness of certain chemotherapeutic agents, especially those that rely on the generation of free radicals to kill cancer cells. As lycopene is an antioxidant, it could neutralize these free radicals, potentially reducing the treatment's effectiveness. On the other hand, for other types of cancer, lycopene may be beneficial, helping to protect healthy cells and possibly improving treatment outcomes. One of the main potential interactions of lycopene occurs with anticoagulants or antiplatelet drugs. These medications, like warfarin, aspirin, and clopidogrel, are used to prevent blood clots. Lycopene has antioxidant properties that may theoretically increase the risk of bleeding when used in combination with these drugs, as it can influence platelet function and coagulation. Although this interaction is not widely reported, it is an important point to consider, since any substance that interferes with blood clotting can amplify the effects of these drugs. Another group of medications that may interact with lycopene includes cholesterol-lowering drugs, specifically statins. Statins like atorvastatin and simvastatin are prescribed to lower LDL cholesterol levels in the blood. While there is limited evidence, some studies suggest that lycopene may increase HDL cholesterol levels, the good cholesterol. This interaction may be beneficial, complementing the effects of statins. However, lycopene may also interfere with the metabolism of statins in the liver, potentially increasing the risk of side effects like muscle pain or weakness. Additionally, lycopene may interact with medications used to treat hypertension or high blood pressure. Antihypertensive drugs such as ACE inhibitors like enalapril and calcium channel blockers like amlodipine may have their effectiveness influenced by lycopene, which may also have a mild blood pressure lowering effect. In theory, the concurrent use of lycopene and these medications could result in an excessive drop in blood pressure, causing hypotension. Although this effect is not widely documented, it is important to consider this possibility. Lycopene can also interact with drugs that affect the liver and hepatic metabolism. Medications such as carbamazepine, phenytoin, and other anticonvulsants are metabolized in the liver through the cytochrome P450 enzyme system. Lycopene may inhibit or induce certain enzymes in this system, potentially affecting how quickly these drugs are metabolized, increasing or decreasing their levels in the blood. This could lead to insufficient therapeutic effects or an increased risk of side effects, such as liver toxicity. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, like ibuprofen and naproxen, may also interact with lycopene. Lycopene has its own anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which could complement the effects of NSAIDs. However, combining lycopene with these drugs could increase the risk of gastric irritation or ulcers, especially in people already prone to digestive problems. Therefore, even though NSAIDs and lycopene share some anti-inflammatory properties, their combined use should be approached with caution. Another important point is the impact of lycopene on the immune system, especially in people taking immunosuppressive drugs. Drugs like cyclosporin and tacrolimus, used after organ transplants or for autoimmune diseases, reduce immune system activity to prevent rejection or autoimmune crises. Lycopene, with its antioxidant potential and cell protective effects, could theoretically influence the effectiveness of these medications. However, there is no conclusive evidence of this interaction, but it is worth considering the possibility that lycopene could affect the balance between immunosuppression and active immunity. Additionally, there is the question of interaction with medications that affect hormone levels, such as oral contraceptives and hormone replacement therapy drugs. Lycopene may have some effect on hormonal regulation, especially concerning estrogen, which could, in theory, interfere with the action of these drugs. Although studies in this area are limited, it is a possibility to consider for individuals taking hormones regularly. Another interesting aspect is the potential interaction of lycopene with medications used to treat diabetes, such as metformin and sulfonylureas. Lycopene has been studied for its potential beneficial effects on insulin sensitivity and blood glucose control. In individuals already taking medications to lower glucose, lycopene may enhance these effects, which could result in hypoglycemia, a sharp drop in blood sugar levels. Although this interaction may be advantageous for diabetes management, it is important to monitor blood glucose levels more rigorously. Furthermore, lycopene may interact with medications used to treat gastrointestinal diseases. Drugs like proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, used to treat acid reflux and gastric ulcers, may be influenced by lycopene. Lycopene can affect gastric acidity and the intestinal mucosa, and this interaction could theoretically alter the effectiveness of PPIs. Since lycopene also has protective properties for the gastric mucosa, it may be beneficial in treating some conditions, but its concurrent use with stomach medications should be carefully monitored. Lycopene may also influence the action of diuretics, which are used to treat fluid retention and high blood pressure. Certain types of diuretics, such as thiazides and loop diuretics, affect the body's electrolyte balance, and lycopene, with its antioxidant effects, could interfere with this process. Although this is not a widely studied interaction, it is something to consider, especially for individuals using diuretics long-term. Another group of medications that may interact with lycopene are drugs used to treat sexual dysfunction, such as sildenafil. Lycopene has been associated with improved vascular health, which could, in theory, amplify the effects of these drugs. However, this interaction could also increase the risk of low blood pressure, as both lycopene and these medications may dilate blood vessels. Finally, chemotherapy drugs can also be affected by lycopene. In cancer treatments, chemotherapy aims to eliminate cancer cells, and lycopene, with its antioxidant properties, could interfere with the oxidative stress induced by chemotherapy. While lycopene is seen as a protective substance against cancer, its use during chemotherapy should be carefully evaluated, as it could reduce the effectiveness of chemotherapeutic agents. These examples illustrate how lycopene, despite its many health benefits, can interact in various ways with medications you may already be taking. Research in this area is still developing, but it is crucial to be aware of these potential interactions when considering the use of lycopene supplements in conjunction with prescription or over-the-counter medications.